I never thought I'd be the guy standing here, feeling like his entire world's been turned upside down. Renee and I had been together for almost 8 years. We met in college, got married right after I finished my MBA, and honestly, I thought we had something solid. Sure, we had our fights like any couple, but overall, I believed we were in it for the long haul. She was a bit of a bitch sometimes, always bossing me around, throwing tantrums when she didn't get her way, but I thought that was just her personality. She was the kind of woman who could be charming when she wanted, but beneath that, she was manipulative, sneaky, and a master at hiding her true colors. Lately, though, things had felt off. She started acting weird, staying out later, hiding her phone, and disappearing at odd hours. She'd say she was at her sister or with her friends, but I'd catch her in little lies. At first, I thought it was just normal stress. Her job had been hectic and maybe she was just overwhelmed. But then I started noticing other things. Her texts became more secretive. She'd be quick to grab her phone whenever I came close, and she'd delete messages like her life depended on it. She'd get defensive if I asked about her whereabouts, and sometimes she'd snap back with a sneer, saying I was paranoid that I didn't trust her. It all came to a head one night when I was cleaning our bedroom. Nothing extraordinary, just tidying up after a long day, and I found her phone on the nightstand. I wasn't snooping, just reaching for a glass of water, and suddenly my eye caught a message notification. It was from a number I didn't recognize, but the message itself made my blood run cold. It was from someone named Jake. The conversation was flirty, suggestive, even kind of downright slutty. They were talking about meeting up, about sex, about what she wanted to do when she saw him again. My heart skipped a beat. I read more, my stomach knotting tighter with every word. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Renee, my wife, the woman I'd loved, was cheating on me with my best friend. My mind went blank for a second, then everything went numb. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I waited. That night I didn't sleep. Instead, I kept replaying what I saw, trying to make sense of it. I felt betrayed, crushed, and furious all at once. The next morning, I confronted her. I called her out in the kitchen, and she looked at me with those icy, bitchy eyes like she didn't care. Her lips curled into that smug smirk she always used when she was lying, like she thought she was untouchable. I asked her outright, "Who is Jake? Who have you been texting? Who are you meeting behind my back?" She rolled her eyes, scoffing, and started giving me that tired, rehearsed bullshit about how it was just a misunderstanding, that Jake was just an old friend, that I was jealous and paranoid because I didn't trust her. She threw her head back, laughed sarcastically, and said, "Oh, please, like you're so innocent. You think I'm just gonna sit here and let you accuse me of cheating without any proof?" Her tone was biting, full of venom. I was boiling inside. I told her I'd seen the messages, and I knew she was lying. Her face twisted into something ugly, like she was angry-eyed. Found her out, but she kept denying it, insisting she was faithful, that I was just insecure. The worst part, I could see through her lies. I knew she was hiding something, and I wasn't about to let her get away with it. That's when I realized this wasn't just a little mistake. This was a full-blown betrayal, and it was going to change everything. After that confrontation, things didn't exactly calm down. If anything, they got worse. Renee kept up her act, playing the innocent victim while I was feeling more betrayed than I had ever felt in my life. She acted like I was crazy, like I was imagining things, but I knew better. I could see it in her eyes. She was guilty as hell. She'd become more defensive, more bitchy, and she started throwing accusations back at me, saying I was controlling, that I didn't give her space, that I was just insecure. But the truth was, I was just hurt. Deep down, I knew she'd been lying for months, maybe longer. I decided I had to find out more. I started digging through her stuff, her phone, her emails, her social media. I wanted to catch her in another lie, just so I could be sure. Turns out I didn't have to dig very deep. I found more texts from Jake, even more secret meetings. She'd meet him at her sister's house, sometimes late at night. I'd come home unexpectedly once, and I saw her slip out through the back door quickly, her face flushed. I even caught her hiding her phone under her pillow when she thought I wasn't looking. I was furious. How could she be so reckless, so careless? And all the while she kept lying, kept denying everything. One of the worst moments was when I overheard her talking on the phone with her sister. I was passing by the living room and I heard her whispering, "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. He doesn't suspect a thing." I froze there, listening. That's when I realized she'd been planning all of this, hiding her tracks, trying to cover her ass. It wasn't just a fling. She was actively sneaking around, lying and manipulating the situation. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. My trust was shattered. How could I have been so blind? It's like I was living with a stranger, a woman I didn't even recognize anymore. I started feeling a deep, gnawing anger, not just at her but at myself. How did I miss all this? How did I let it go on so long? I thought I knew her, thought I knew us. But every day I found more evidence that she was cheating, lying, hiding another life from me. And then one night it all came crashing down. I saw her with Jake again. I saw them at her sister's house, sneaking out after midnight. They weren't just talking, they were kissing. I watched from my car, my stomach twisting in knots, feeling helpless and furious at the same time. It was like a punch to the gut. I knew then that I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I had to do something, but I didn't have a clear plan yet. All I knew was that I had to confront her again, and this time I had to be ready for whatever came next. The moment I saw her and Jake in that parking lot, I knew I couldn't keep going like this. The betrayal was so deep, so raw, that I felt like I was walking in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I was angry, yes, but mostly I was hurt. Hurt that the woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, had been lying to my face for months. It wasn't just the cheating, it was the way she lied, the way she manipulated every situation to hide her tracks. I felt like I'd been played, used, and discarded like yesterday's trash. That night I sat in my car, trying to figure out my next move. I knew I couldn't just confront her again without a plan. I needed proof, something solid I could use to make her see how deep she'd gone. So I decided to install a hidden recorder in the house. I knew it was sneaky, but I didn't see any other way. I wanted her to hear herself, to hear how she lied and manipulated me, to see how she justified her cheating. I set it up in the living room where I'd seen her and Jake meet, and I waited. It was a horrible feeling, like I was sneaking around, invading her privacy, but I convinced myself it was the only way to get the truth. Over the next few days I played the recordings and listened to her lies. She'd say things like, "It's just sex, it doesn't mean anything," or "You're overreacting," or "I love you, I swear." While I heard her whispering with Jake, planning secret meetings, laughing about how stupid I'd be if I ever found out. Hearing her talk like that, knowing she was lying to my face, damn, it was like being punched again and again. I felt sick, betrayed, and so goddamn angry I wanted to scream. I kept replaying those recordings, trying to find some shred of evidence that I could use to confront her properly. Finally, I decided I'd had enough. I sat her down one evening, told her I knew everything. Her face went pale, then she started spinning her usual lies. She claimed she was just bored, that Jake was just an old friend, that I was being paranoid. She even had the nerve to cry, saying I was accusing her of something she didn't do, that I didn't trust her. But I had the recordings and I threw them in her face. Her excuses sounded so hollow, so desperate. She yelled, called me crazy, said I was ruining everything, but I wasn't listening to her anymore. I could see right through her. I told her she had to choose me or Jake, and her answer was a silent glare. That's when I realized I was dealing with someone who didn't care about me at all. I felt my heart breaking for the first time in a long while. All the love, all the trust just evaporated. I couldn't believe how far she'd gone, how little she thought of me. And yet I still felt a flicker of hope that I could get out of this without completely losing myself. I told her I needed time, that I wasn't going to just forgive her overnight. I needed space, time to think about what I wanted, whether I could even stay with someone who lied so blatantly. The worst part was knowing that she was pregnant again, another kid on the way, and I didn't even know if I was the father anymore. That thought haunted me. How did I get here? How did I become this guy who's just been used and lied to? I don't know. All I know is I'm done pretending everything's okay. I've got a lot to process, and I'm still trying to figure out what the hell comes next. After I confronted her with the recordings, everything changed. She didn't deny it anymore. Her face was a mask of rage and contempt. She spat at me, calling me jealous and insecure, saying I was overreacting. But I could see the guilt in her eyes, the way she avoided eye contact, and I knew she was lying again. She kept insisting it was just sex, that it didn't mean anything, that she loved me and it was all a mistake. Yeah, a mistake that had been going on for months, hidden behind her fake smiles and her bitchy attitude. I felt numb. The shock of it all hit me hard. My wife, the woman I swore to love and protect, had been sleeping with my best friend for who knows how long. It was like my whole world was crumbling. I didn't cry, not then. Instead, I sat there staring at her, trying to process what I just heard and seen. I kept replaying the moments, the texts, the sneaking out, the lies. It was all too much. The betrayal, the lies, the fact that she was pregnant again. I didn't even know if the kid was mine anymore. The thought hit me like a punch to the stomach. She started crying, trying to manipulate me, like she always did, saying I was overreacting, that I was controlling, that she was only human. That was her favorite line, I'm only human, as if that explained everything. But I wasn't buying it anymore. I knew her too well. She was a bitch, a liar, and a manipulator, and I was sick of being the fool. I told her I needed some space, that I wasn't going to let her keep lying to me. I needed time to think, to figure out what to do. I told her I wanted her to leave, and when she started screaming, calling me names, I just walked out of that house and didn't look back. The next few days were a blur. I stayed with my brother, trying to keep my head straight. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. All I could do was replay everything in my mind. Her cheating, her lies, her sneering face when she told me it was just sex. I felt betrayed on every level, doubting everything I believed. About our relationship, I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I didn't see it coming. The worst part was knowing she was pregnant again. I couldn't get the image out of my head, her face, her sneaky meetings at her sister's house, her secret texts. She'd been lying to me and everyone else, hiding her affair behind a facade. So I did what I thought I had to. I decided I needed to get some proof, something concrete I could use to confront her again, or to show her I wasn't going to be played anymore. I hired a private investigator. I told him to keep tabs on her, to document everything. I needed to see who she was really meeting, what she was really up to. I told myself that I had to know the truth, no matter how much it hurt. It was the only way I could make a decision, whether to fight for my marriage or walk away for good. While I was waiting for the reports, I couldn't shake the feeling of emptiness. Every hour felt like a lifetime. The woman I once loved had become this stranger, bitchy, manipulative, a liar, and I was stuck trying to piece together what the hell went wrong. I never thought I'd be the guy whose wife cheats on him with his best friend, especially during pregnancy. That's the part that kills me the most, the fact that she's pregnant again, and I don't even know if I'm the father anymore. It's like my entire world is a giant mess, and I don't have a clue how to fix it. All I know is I can't keep living in this chaos forever. Something got to give, but I still don't know what that is. The reports from the private investigator came in sooner than I expected. I sat in my car, staring at the photos and videos he sent me, unable to believe what I was seeing. Renee, my wife, was meeting Jake again, just like I suspected. The videos showed her sneaking into that same damn house her sister owns, meeting him late at night. They were kissing, holding hands, touching each other like they had no shame. It was blatant. No more lies, no more pretending. She was cheating on me, and she had been doing it for months. Seeing those images cracked something inside me. It was like a punch to the gut, only this time I didn't just feel angry or betrayed, I felt broken. I'd given her everything, my love, my trust, my life, and she'd thrown it all away. I kept asking myself, how did I miss the signs? How could I have been so blind? The woman I loved had turned into this manipulative, bitchy person who was only out for herself. And now she was pregnant again. I couldn't even process that part fully. Was that kid even mine? Did she cheat on me with Jake before or after she got pregnant again? The questions kept swirling, and I felt like I was losing my mind. I knew I had to confront her again, but this time I had evidence. I called her up, told her I knew everything. She tried to deny it at first, acting innocent, acting like she didn't know what I was talking about. But I played the videos for her over the phone. Silence. Then she exploded. started yelling, accusing me of spying, of invading her privacy. She called me obsessed, paranoid, crazy. That's when I lost it. I told her I was done playing games, that I wasn't going to sit around and get lied to anymore. I told her she had to leave, that I was done with her manipulative bullshit. She screamed, called me every name in the book, but I didn't flinch. I knew the truth now, and I wasn't going to go back to that life. I told her I was going to file for divorce, that I wanted nothing to do with her anymore. She looked at me with that bitchy smirk, like she thought she was untouchable, like she could manipulate her way out of this. But I saw through her. I saw the bitch she'd become, cold, selfish, manipulative, and I realized I was better off without her. I felt a strange mix of relief and heartbreak. Part of me still loved her, but I knew she didn't deserve that love anymore. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. In the days that followed, I started packing up my things. I realized I couldn't keep living in this chaos, that I deserved better than a wife who cheated on me, lied to my face, and now was pregnant with another man's kid. I didn't want to be that guy who stayed in a miserable marriage just because of the kids or the memories. No, I had to stand up for myself. I told her to leave the house, to go to her sister's or whatever place she wanted, but I was done. Done with the lies, the cheating, the manipulations. I needed to rebuild my life from scratch. It was the hardest decision I ever made, but I knew it was the right one. Now I'm sitting here, reflecting on everything, trying to piece together what I've learned. Trust is everything in a relationship, and once it's broken, it's nearly impossible to fix. I thought I knew my wife, but I didn't know her at all. She turned into someone I don't recognize, bitchy, manipulative, unfaithful, and the worst part, she's pregnant again with a future that I don't even want to imagine. I'm not sure where I go from here, but I do know one thing: I won't let myself be used or lied to anymore. I'm done with her, done with the betrayal. And I'm finally starting to realize that I deserve better than this nightmare. Looking back, I honestly don't know how I managed to keep myself sane through all of this. The betrayal ran so deep it felt like my heart had been torn out and stomped on. The woman I married, the woman I trusted with everything, turned out to be a manipulative, selfish bitch who'd been sleeping around behind my back, lying to my face for months. And now, she's pregnant again. That's a punch I didn't see coming and probably never will fully recover from. I guess what hurts most is how much I loved her, or at least how much I thought I did. I still remember the good times, the vacations, the small gestures, the plans we made. But all that feels like a lifetime ago now. The woman I knew turned into someone I don't even recognize anymore. It's like I was living with a stranger and I let her get away with so much. Foolish, maybe, but love blinds you, and I was blind. I've decided to move on. No more lies, no more pretending everything's okay. I've filed for divorce and I'm slowly rebuilding my life. It's not easy. Some nights are still hard, and sometimes I wonder if I'll ever truly forgive her for what she's done. But I know I deserve peace, honesty, and respect. I've learned that trust, once broken, is almost impossible to repair. I'll never forget what she did to me, but I refuse to let it define me. To anyone out there who's going through something similar, trust me, I get it. Betrayal cuts deep and it hurts like hell. But you have to remember your worth. Don't stay in a toxic situation just because you're scared of being alone or you're afraid of starting over. Sometimes, walking away is the bravest thing you can do. And in the end, you'll find that life can go on better, stronger, and more honest than before. I've come to realize that I don't need someone who manipulates and cheats on me. I need someone who respects me, who values honesty, and who doesn't lie just to protect her own shitty secrets. And yes, that girl is gone. I hope she finds what she's looking for, whatever that is, but I know I won't be part of it anymore. I'm done. Finally, I'm done. So that's my story. It's a long, brutal road, but I'm finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And honestly, that's more than I could have hoped for a few weeks ago. Life's messy, it's painful, but it's also a chance to rebuild. And I know now that I deserve a life built on honesty and respect, not lies and betrayal.